City of Stevens Point Board of Park Commissioners meeting, recorded February 2nd, 2022.
February 2nd, Board of Park Commissioners meeting will come to order. Dan, would you read the roll, please?
Freckman?
Here.
Badesky?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Matt Kirsch is not here yet. McDonald?
Here.
O'Connor is excused. Shabilsky?
Here.
Alder Short?
Here.
Alder Selinsky?
Here.
Right there.
Sorensen?
Here.
And Alder Zarazua.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you. Item number 2, approval of January 5th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I so move to approve.
Okay, Sue moves. We have a second.
I'll second.
Alder Zarazua seconds. Any discussion, corrections, additions?
Just a typo in the adjournment, the second. I think there's a misspelling of Alder Zerzua's last name.
Uh-oh.
I'm okay with that.
We'll fix it.
Thank you. All right.
Type that fast.
With that correction, all those in favor of approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Alder. All right, great. They've been approved. Item number 3, swing donation proposal for Yolga Park by Dr. Ralph and Marcia Loker.
Okay,
Dan?
yeah, so in your packet, what you'll see is photos, and I think I accidentally, here, I'll pull this up on here in case you'd like to see it. So say staff was approached by a neighbor to Yolga Park, and Dr. Locker and his wife had said that they'd like to see a swing set put in at Yolga Park. The playground structure out there does not have a swing attached to it, but there is a pretty decent open area in that park. There's actually a trail that comes off of Partridge Way that you can get back into the green circle. So there's a pretty large area in that neighborhood park that's basically wide open space. So we kind of went back and forth on what they were interested in doing and what they were willing to provide the donation for. And what you'll see in your packet is a 2-bay swing is what they are proposing to cover the cost for, both the materials and the installation. They wish to see a parent and knee swing so that a parent and a child or could swing together, as well as a toddler swing, and then the 2 belt swings for a mixture of ages. And they were hopeful to have just some slight recognition. What their hope was is that it might encourage others to maybe donate towards something like this. So what's in the package just shows a real small plaque on the post that just states that the swing is made possible by Dr. Ralph and Marcia Lochner. So they're proposing that they would provide the funds to pay for the entire swing, as well as the certified wood fibers that would go around it. And then Scott and his team would actually work on the installation of the site. And because of the large open space, it wouldn't affect anything that's in the playground area right now. It would just go adjacent to it. Other improvements that we would likely do with our staff is maybe extend the gravel path that currently goes right by, just to connect over as kind of accessibility parts. So staff recommendation is that we would accept the donation, and then this would be another playground project that would happen this spring.
So we need a motion on that.
Yeah, I'd so move.
Moved by Mike,
I'll second.
second by Bob. Is there any further discussion?
Actually,
Yes.
it's just a question for Dan. Dan, is the recognition, is there anything we would need to be concerned about from a policy standpoint? Is that recognition in line with what we've done in other places?
It would be. So that was one of the big things we talked about, is that when it first came up, is we didn't want to put a sign or anything of that nature, because how our policy states is significant monetary contributions.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be in line with, obviously this is a several $1,000s contribution to do this. So this small placard just on the swing would be in line with the monetary contribution part of like our policy that allows it. So the only other thing that really compares for slightly less money, like the bench that we have that has a name on it, that's $5,000. This would actually be almost be in excess of that for what they're paying. This all in total is right around $8,000 for the wood fibers and the swing set, so it would be consistent.
Thank you.
Great. Any other comments, questions? All right, we've got a second for this proposal. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, it carries with our gratitude to Dr. Ralph and Marcia Loker.
Do you send them a nice thank you letter then? and-
Yeah, we actually will, we'll do a couple things. So our intention is actually to probably do a photo op in front of it as well when it's done.
Okay. Yeah,
Like I
great.
said, they were really interested in seeing maybe it spur some other people to maybe invest in their neighborhood parks, so.
That's a great idea, and hopefully other people will see it. We've got a lot of
Put
opportunities
their
in the
picture in the
community
Gazette or on
for.
the internet or something, and, yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. Item number 4, Director?
So for the fourth item, this goes back to before me, but the Village of Park Ridge, used to make a pledge to the city, and ultimately it was for Iverson Park support is what it was. Going back a couple of years ago, that was taken away due to some budget constraints that they had on their side. They've undergone some change in their board and their leadership. So earlier this year, late last year, I was approached by their village president just stating that they were interested in renewing that pledge to the department, and they had some things they wanted to talk through. What's in the actual agenda packet tonight is where that landed essentially. So the agreement states basically that it would be a $5.50 pledge to the Parks Department, or really on behalf of Iverson Park. And what's in exchange, instead of it just being an outright, here's some money for the park, the village board, for their end, asked if they could utilize the all-purpose building on either Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. And when we first talked about it, it was requested to be kind of open-ended, so essentially that they could use it without really a maximum, so a couple times a month. So what I did was calculated it against what we charge for the building, and it wouldn't have been a fair shake is the way I see it, based on what we charge per day with a couple $100, if we were just gonna say you could use this 30 times or something a year. So what we landed on in our negotiations, or as we talked through it, was to say that if they gave the $550 per resident that they have in their village, it's $2,778. If we said they could use it up to 12 times, that's $2,820 in value. So it's almost a wash. So what's before you here is really a written agreement that states they're gonna pledge to the park, and in exchange, we'd allow them up to 12 times to utilize that building in our off-peak days. So what staff is recommending is that this is something that we finally have written down. The former one was not really recorded in an agreement format. This would be an agreement format, shows exactly what they're paying for, what we're providing them, and we're recommending approval.
All right. Any questions, or, yes, Wayne?
A couple, Dan. I guess the question is, how much in advance would the village be asked to give dates? Because I'm wondering, because part of my concern is if it's open-ended, we may limit the opportunity for citizens of the city to access dates. So can you walk us through the timeline and when they need to commit, and then how that would all be built into the reservation process?
So how it's worked, so they actually, how it's worked is they make a request. So they'd say, we're looking to have it for our meeting, say in March. And it's only if it's available. So we've already talked to them saying that if somebody's already got it rented, they can't have it. And we allow residents to book basically a year and a half in advance. So say they were asking for something this summer, which is usually the busiest time. Everyone that was looking for summer dates are already able to reserve them. And as a vast majority, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are less popular than the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they would basically get second option at it in almost all cases. We would not move any paying residents or anybody of that nature for one of their meetings.
Thank you.
Can you address the responsibility for cleanup and restoring the,
Yep, so we would treat this just like, in here, you'll notice there's still the security deposit. We'll treat this just like we would a regular lodge rental. So we provide basically the cleaning supplies, we have the trash receptacles and the recycle bins outside of the building. They have to clean it and treat it just like they were if they were paying in full for it. If they would not clean it up to our standards, or if they damage something, we would recoup and keep that security deposit, and they'll pay the deposit each meeting they have. So they'll be bringing the $100 in, and they're signing and acknowledging the same rental terms that we have for a standard renter.
so are the requirements that they pick up the key for every rental like we do for other rental
Correct.
situations?
So they will not have an open-ended key, so we never would have to worry about them being in there when they didn't belong or something. They'll first be able to get in at 10 a.m. on a day they'd be renting, and then they would have it for the day.
Thank you. Other questions for Dan? Can we get a motion?
I'll move to accept it as proposed.
I can second that.
Okay. We've got a motion with a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you. All right, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 5, award of emerald ash borer tree treatment quotes for 2022 and 2023.
So I apologize, this memo was late. The reason for it wasn't in the packet originally is that we first had the quotes due, Todd had them due on Monday, so we did not have them when we released the actual packet. So you got, those that are in attendance tonight got the memo here as you arrived. I apologize, Alder Selinsky, that online you did not get this, but essentially we received, we solicited to 4 different companies. We received back 3 of them. And our contract we're looking for is basically for all of our emerald ash borer injection treatments for 2 years. So on what Todd summarized here is that we do approximately 250 trees. It's 10 milliliters is what we'll be treating with now, which is actually up from the 5 milliliters that we have done in some years past. So Todd's been working in the industry with other municipalities, talking through the product and what we're doing as time's going on with emerald ash borer. On the bottom of this memo is where you'll see the actual dollars and cents. So Eagle Tree Care did not submit a quote, but Arbor Vantage did at $11 per inch. First Choice Tree Care submitted at $8.70 per inch, and True Green was the low quote at $6.15 per inch. So as you'll see, there's a pretty decent spread between the high quoter and the low one. So Todd did do the due diligence of calling and verifying that it was the exact same product and at the exact same levels. You'll also notice that he mentions that we'll actually store the product at our facility so that we know that it's being stored correctly. So the recommendation from Todd and the Forestry Department is that we would move forward with True Green for the next 2 years' treatments at $6.15 per diameter inch, and this is a budgeted expense, so it'd be $20,000, $20,900 annually, and again, that would be within our budget constraints.
And Alder Slawinski, for your information, since you don't have this, the other 2 quotes were $30,260 and $37,400. So this is at $20,900 for an annual is a significant better price.
Definitely.
Thanks for providing that for me.
Bet. Yes, Alder.
If I could ask a question, thanks. Are the inoculations done for all of the emerald ash trees?
So, yes, essentially, all of them that in Todd's management plan that the Forestry Department went through that we're preserving. So there was some preemptive removals of some of the smaller trees that have been done. So what you see now in the boulevards are the ones that are remaining, approximately 250 that we are treating.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, one more question. Is this the same thing that we've done this last year, or is
Yes.
everything is the same?
The only difference is we were at 5 milliliters and now we're going to 10.
Okay.
Great. Any further questions for our director? Okay. Can we get a motion on this, or did I fall asleep and forget that we already have one? Can we get a-
I'll move approval of the
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
bid.
And I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Bob, second by Sue. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great, that carries. Thank you for your work on that, Todd. Item number 6, division reports. Dan?
Tonight for the division reports, we have 2 of them. I apologize, the reason Forestry's not on the agenda tonight is Todd originally thought he was gonna be on vacation, but, so he's not in attendance, but we do have Scott, who's gonna go first with the parks side, and then Ann is online that's gonna talk through on the programs and facility side, so.
All right, thank you. It's good to see everybody. So we are in full swing winter mode, and we're really having a solid season for our winter sports. Our rinks, we've got our downtown rink, the 2 Gurky rinks, and Iverson rink, all up and running. And new this year is the East Oaks rink, and you can see a picture of that. It's not the most level, flat surface, but it's a little unusual because there's a larger skating area that's in the middle, and then 2 lazy river offshoots that connect on each the north and the south end. So you can see, I took the picture facing the town of Hull Park, and you see the south branch of that, which is in our East Oaks Park. And then towards the north, which you can't see, it meanders through the town of Hull playground equipment and then swings back to the big center area. So we've got a lot of positive reviews on that. It doesn't get as used as heavily as our Gurky rinks, but it's definitely new, and people over in that area are really excited about it. Our Iverson winter sports area has been solid this year. If you can remember, way back in late December, we had a nice dump of snow, and we were able to haul in a lot of snow down to Iverson to get the sled hills up and running. We opened up a little bit late during the holiday season, but we were able to open up on the 27th. And then we had a real nice cold snap that allowed us to open up the toboggan runs on the 29th. So we had a partial opening during that holiday weekend, but it was something for the kids to do. And one of our most busy nights was New Year's Eve night, so that was kind of interesting. New to this year, down at the All-Purpose Lodge, is a party room. In the past, we've only had the availability to rent the facility during Monday through Thursday, and it would be in either a 2 or 4 hour chunk. And as we speak, we're actually having a private party down at the All-Purpose now. But oftentimes, the people that were here on the weekends didn't have an opportunity to have their own little party. So what we decided was to open up or reserve the new section of the All-Purpose Lodge for small birthday parties, etc., for 3 hour windows, either noon to 3 or 4 to 7 on a Saturday or Sunday, which ended up being really popular. We have had a total of 12 so far, and we've got another 4 that's scheduled for this month. So people are really taking advantage of those. As far as the private parties go, we're about slightly above average for the parties that we've had. I would say we were a little bit higher than average pre-pandemic. So we're doing well. The word's back out. We're open for business, and people are having parties. Also, that's new down at Iverson is, well, this is just a summary of how we were doing for our rentals, for toboggan rentals, and hot chocolate, candy sales, that kind of thing. If Dan, you could go back to the picture, and if you scroll down a little bit, we've got a new little free sled library this year, which just started last week. The idea was presented to us, and I talked to our handyman, Todd Pliska, and gave him a picture and said, hey, can you make one of these? And this is what he came up with. He did a great job. The streets sign guy, Kenny Rozak, made the sign, and we had an anonymous donor donate about 8 sleds for people to use. It's gotten good PR. People really think it's nice. It's a good Facebook, social media, feel-good kind of thing. And the people are using them. And the sleds are actually, I think I counted about 12 of them down there today. So people are digging out the stuff in their garage and say, hey, let's get rid of this. So people are donating them. So it's really turning out to be a nice project for us. Things can happen real quick this time of the year. Anytime, we always say anytime after Valentine's Day is a bonus. Sometimes we go well into March. Sometimes, well, we call it quits in the middle of February. So we'll see what happens. I do have the application posting for summer employment already. So if you know of people that are interested or consider helping us out and being part of the team in the summer, now's the time to apply. That's about all I've got for an update. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to talk about it. That's Bob.
One interesting thing is, I think this has been just about the driest January on record, and it's rather amazing that we still have a winter program going, considering the lack of snow.
You're right. Between our department and the streets department, we hauled yards and yards and yards of snow to put on the hills, to build the banks, and it was just like a 2-week process of getting the snow there. So without that hauling in of any of that snow, we wouldn't be able to open up hardly at all.
It's pretty amazing to see. I'll tell you, I've only been here a few years, but when you go down, when the snow's being hauled in, and then there's a tractor going, moving the snow, the end loader's usually going, there's a tool cat, there'd be 3 or 4 of our guys that are working it. It's like a Swiss Army, it just runs really, really well. And I guess we almost take it for granted how well the guys do with it, but to their credit, the parks crew really does a good job down there of moving resources in and making them seem seamless, but there's definitely a lot of effort that goes into it. The only other things I was going to mention, Scott, not to add on to that, but those additional party room rentals, just for a revenue standpoint, it's $100 a time is what Scott kind of developed when they put that together. So they'll end up being probably $2,000 plus extra dollars that will be captured down there. Which in a program down there, if we can bring in a few $1,000s a year, that's helpful. It helps offset a little bit of the expenses. So that was a really big revenue source that the crew's been able to make work and worked out really well for them. And that ice rink also on the east side of the city was a really good collaborative effort. So we actually are on some town of Hull property. And I think we talked about this in a director's report several months ago, but the town of Hull actually okayed that. So we worked that out to say, hey, could we work with you on it? And their town board said, sure, we'd be love to make that work. So a really good partnership between a neighboring municipality again and the Parks Department. So great to see that work. And again, that was an idea from a crew member. Ron Otto, who's been with us a long time, he's the one that kind of offered that to Scott and the department. So it's great to see that work out for some of the guys that are out seeing it and being able to put that to work for everyone. So,
Scott, we saw you on television also, so I think you've been getting some real good publicity for all the winter sports activities that you and your crew have made available to the residents and others. So thank you.
Yeah. The interview actually helped out with people applying for the position. So it ended up being a real positive thing.
he'll sign autographs later too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any more questions for Scott?
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Ann is online. Okay, Ann, I think the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Ann.
Oh, I got some feedback from my computer, so. Yeah, things are going great at the Willet. We're in full swing. Our Learn to Skate program is full, very full, actually. We had a lot of classes that hit their limits, and then along with my head instructor, we decided to add some spots in a lot of our beginning classes, and we're able to fill up almost all of our beginning classes to capacity. So that was wonderful to see so many people interested and so many kids on the ice taking advantage. So that's about halfway through, and we are preparing for the ice show. That'll happen in April. And so preparations are underway, and we had 91 skaters choose to join the ice show, where you know, it's an option, so they don't have to do it, but a lot of families decided to go for it. So I think that'll be a wonderful event come spring, and that will close out our Willet season. The hockey schedule is, you know, just at the tail end. We got a couple more weeks full of regular season play, and then we'll move into hopefully some postseason, depending on how the teams do. So yeah, there's a puck drop happening in 5 minutes. The Pointers are playing a makeup game tonight. And then we're already talking, oh, I shouldn't move on to pool just yet. We did lose our ice arena and pool maintenance technician recently, and so we have a couple of park techs over filling in while we search for our new maintenance technician that will serve both the Willet and the pool. So if you know anybody, send them our way. And preparations are underway for the pool. Greg and I are already meeting and making plans for the summer. I think it's going to be a great year. We have a lot of staff interested in returning, but we are still looking for new employees. So like Scott, you know, send your youth our way. We need lifeguards and cashiers. And so looking towards summer, the replastering project call for bids just went out. And so we got that underway. That'll be in fall. And we're already booking Gurky Stadium for spring and fall. So there is a lot going on in our office, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Ann.
Any questions for Ann? Thank you very much, Ann.
Ann has a new puppy, Boomer.
I was going to say,
So
what
that-
kind of dog is it?
Not to put you on the spot, Ann, but I was waiting for Boomer to make an appearance on that.
Okay, item number 7, Director's Report.
Okay, so definitely a lot going on right now. One of the large projects that there's not been an update provided in a while I wanted to touch on tonight was Gurky Turf Project and the stadium improvements. So you recall that we are going to be replacing the turf this summer. So it has not gone out for bid yet, and the reason for it is the turf itself and the bid package is actually ready to go. But as you'll all recall, we've sold logos on the turf field in the past to pay for that, and we intend to do that again. So we're working with Tim Sherrill, and that is all set and almost ready to go out, and we can go to bid for it. The reason it's in a holding pattern right now is there are some other aspirations as part of the project to maybe be a little bit larger than just turf. And I think I had mentioned that a couple months ago in the director's report, that we were looking at some potential building improvements, and there was an architect that was brought on. So there's some real basic renderings that are not quite ready to be shown or part of the bid package yet, or is shown as part of the fundraiser. So we're working through that, and with Tim Sherrill and Rutler Company, or Corporation. When that's ready for the public to see, as well as the Park Commission to view, we'll be bringing that here so you can take a look at it. What'll happen here basically is the hope is to get to a place where the fundraising can cover it. And that's when we'll say, okay, this design looks right, it looks like it could work for what the users are asking for, and then Park Commission will be asked to definitely review it, provide input, make sure we're okay with it. So the goal is still that the field will happen. The other items are wishful thinking things that we hope to bring here, provided that the fundraising can pay for it, so that the city council is not looking to have to put more money or things into it. So it's a really exciting project, and there's a lot of moving pieces because of the donation side of it. And again, having Tim Sherrill as part of that, working with us alongside, has really been helpful. So I hope to have more on that next month and the next month as we look towards a June install of the turf. The other elements would take longer if they are going to move forward. On the Bandshell update, you'll recall, our intention for that now, as we've gotten further into it, and Scott's been working alongside on this project, is that you're going to see this in probably 2 stages. The first stage is going to be the roof itself. So we actually anticipate having a roof specification that we can go out for quotes or bids on this week, is our hope, to get that in hand. The roof needs to be done first because we have to protect, obviously, the shell of the building to make sure as we come out of winter here, we're not taking moisture on. Once that part happens, that's going to allow us to really move forward with our full calendar. We don't anticipate any delays in what's going to actually take place at the Bandshell. But the second half of the project, which will likely carry in throughout the summer, will be fixing and replacing that Glallam beam that's underneath, doing some of the concrete repairs, wrapping that front of the actual the truss system is what I'll say it is, the rafters essentially. Some of those elements will probably be done in another sequence or a second bid package because it's likely a different contractor. So Scott and I are meeting with the consultant. We hope to get the first piece out here in the next several days. That second piece will likely be a spring into summer type project because it's going to need to be a different time, and they'll need some more time, and it'll be a different set of skill sets. But our intention here, we have gotten several calls saying, hey, can we have events there yet? Yes, we can. The structure report still said the events could happen there. It's just if we get over that 50-mile-an-hour winds items that we'll be watching it and working with the event organizers. As you can imagine, if winds are up in that realm, you're usually involved in a storm anyways, so it kind of goes hand in hand. So, but we are definitely working on that. We want to get that updated because that is a very important thing to our community for all of our events. The Riverfront Arts Center director has elected to move on to something different, so we do have a vacancy at the Riverfront Arts Center. That vacancy will be open. It's open right now for applications. Andrea's going to be with us till the 10th, so we'll miss Andrea. She's done a really good job over the last couple of years, but we are recruiting a new team member. Ann touched on it that we also have a full-time vacancy for our ice center and pool maintenance technician position. To Scott and his crew's credit, there's been a number of cross-training that's taken place the last few months. Ann and Scott have been really collaborative on that element, and the crew's really responded. So luckily, instead of us really scrambling right now and not having Zamboni drivers or somebody that can fill in full-time over there, the crew's really taken to it. We've had a number of people that have filtered through the Willet that historically had not. So we've been in a better position here with this vacancy to keep that operation running. Coming into playoff hockey time, this is a good time to make sure we're in full stride, because if the Pointers make the playoffs as well as the high school team, we want to make sure the facility's ready to house those games. So again, kudos to the crew to be ready for that vacancy. We do have it posted. We hope to fill it soon, but even if it takes us a little time here, we believe that we're going to be able to keep the ship afloat, and we'll be right here in the interim. So, but again, 2 very nice positions for the department, so if you know anybody, please refer them there.
Dan, just a quick question on that Arts Center Director. That's not a full-time position, is it?
It's a 20-hour-a-week position.
20-hour a week,
Yep.
so that might make a difference if some people are interested.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep, and that one as well, they're both available on our website. So we actually have applications coming in for the Riverfront Arts Center Director already, I know. I think we've picked a couple up for the other. Our first screening, we've said, both positions are open until filled, but we'll start screening them already as early as this Friday, so we can kind of keep looking at them, and as we have good candidates apply, we can bring them in for interviews. One other update I wanted to provide, and Wayne definitely fill me in here if I miss anything, but the Emerson Park campaign, I wanted to give an update of where the Friends of Emerson Park are and some of the things that they've been working on recently. So the Friends of Emerson Park, as we know, have been actively fundraising, and they've been getting, what I'm going to say, even more organized here as of late. So recently, last week, they actually kicked off, I think it's fair to say, an internal campaign, or the first stages of their internal campaign that's not necessarily gone to the public yet, but they've made their group actually larger. They've gotten some key influential people and collaborative people involved with the campaign. So rather than just one real small committee, they've got several more people that have attended a meeting and have expressed interest in helping them raise funds. So they're in the stage right now of doing some more training and some more preparation for these members that are now going to help hopefully raise those dollars and connect resources in the community. So the meeting last week was very positive. It was actually kind of uplifting in a way to be a part of. So much positive energy. And Wayne, by all means, I'm probably missing parts if you want to add pieces or.
No, we're excited. There's a number of key high-profile folks in the community that are going to be part of the process. We have a honorary campaign chair, which I think is really excited. I'm not sure if that's quite public knowledge yet, so maybe we'll announce it next month. Well over 30 people. So there's and again, folks that have a direct connection to the park, have a history. The Parks Commission has 3 representatives that were at that meeting, in addition to Director Kramer, myself, and John O'Connick and Liz was part of, Chair McDonald was part of the meeting. So, I think that is kind of exciting to show the commitment on the Parks Commission part to facilitate this, because I think they've got some ambitious goals. The campaign's supposed to run through December. They've got a goal of about $275,000 by June to start the project. They've got a good start going right now. And it's exciting to see what's going to happen after the trainings and the plan gets enacted to start soliciting campaign funds.
So, and I guess just in closing, a lot of positive things going on. So we're excited. It's a great time to be involved with the Park Rec and Forestry Department. I think everybody's really been hitting the ground running with the number of projects we got coming. It seems like as more good things happen, more things are piling in with donations for different parks and stuff. And the whole team has been real supportive of trying to find creative ways to try to get everything done. So everybody's plenty busy, but I think we're all trying to stay as positive as we can, and we're looking forward to, as we come out of winter season, heading into a busy spring. That's all I've got for tonight.
Great. Any questions for Dan on any of these issues? Okay. Thank you very much, Dan. Okay, we will now be closing a public portion of the meeting tonight. We're going to be, we'll entertain a motion for going into closed session, and we will be going into closed session, and then we will be adjourning from that closed session. So if we could have a motion to go into closed session? Yes.
I move to
Alder
go into
Zarazua.
closed session.
Thank you. A second from Alder
have it?
Shore. All those in favor, please signify by saying
Roll
aye.
call vote.
Has to
Do
be
we have to-
I mean, not roll call.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have to do roll call on that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, okay.
So, Freckman?
Yes.
Ledusky?
Hello.
Yes.
Hall?
Here. Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Shabilsky?
Yes.
Short?
Aye.
Slowinski?
Aye.
Sorensen?
Aye.
And Zarazua.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go into closed session here at 7:04. We'll make sure we get all this turned off here first.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.